What's up, everybody? It's the Benchwarmers, and we're back for our fifth episode of the Power Ranking series for the NFL. Hopefully, you've watched some of our previous videos on some of the other teams we had ranked below this current team. But before we reveal which team we have ranked number 28 out of 32 teams in the NFL, we'd like to politely ask you to please like and subscribe. It means so much for us, and it would just help the channel grow and get this out to more viewers, and we can make more content because that. So with that said, at number 28, we have the Philadelphia Eagles.
So starting with the recap of last year, I would say overall they just had a poor season. They finished 4-11 and won that one game that they tied was against the Cincinnati Bengals. And it wasn't just one thing that went wrong. I feel like a lot of things did. So first of all, they traded for Darius Slay, which is one of the major deals of that offseason. But then he actually missed the Pro Bowl for the first time in 3 years. And also their first round pick, Jalen Reagor, was injured. And even when he played, he wasn't that good. And he only had 400 yards. So he was a little bit of a bust that year. In addition, Carson Wentz was injured. I know, a big surprise. But he also got benched for Jalen Hurts, which was a very questionable decision. And at the same time, all of the wide receivers were injured at one point in the season. So they had to get practice squad players like Travis Fulgham and just promote them right away and have them play. So it was a big disaster. They had a lot of talent on that squad, but they just didn't play well.
But that terrible performance during the season, at least it gave them a good draft pick. So they had the number 6 overall pick, but before the draft, they actually traded that to the Dolphins for the number 12th pick and a first rounder in 2022. But then during the draft, they actually traded back up from number 12 to number 10 with the Cowboys so that they could draft Devontae Smith. It was definitely a good move for them, with Devontae Smith being one of the best receivers in the class. And also it was a good move just to hurt the Giants a bit, because I think they knew that the Giants were probably going to take him at 11. So during the future rounds, they also took Landon Dickerson in the second. This was definitely a decent pick, but a little bit interesting because they already have a pretty good offensive line, including Jason Kelce at center. So this wasn't really a huge team need. And then they also took Milton Williams in the third, a defensive tackle, which was also a little bit not the biggest need for them really, because they already have Fletcher Cox. So a good pick with Devontae Smith, but after that, I think they could have done a little bit better.
And following that theme, they had a kind of a weak offseason. They didn't do too much. They re-signed Boston Scott and they added players such as Joe Flacco and Anthony Harris. And they did lose an old Deshaun Jackson and other players such as Malik Jackson and Jalen Mills. But overall, their offseason was pretty quiet. However, they did trade Carson Wentz after benching him and after his terrible season to the Indianapolis Colts. In return, they got a third and a conditional second. So, I mean, considering Carson Wentz was, I think, a top 3 draft pick, this is definitely a fall from grace for him. However, they have definitely committed to Jalen Hurts for this season and hopefully beyond if he performs well enough. And they do have serviceable backups like Joe Flacco and even players such as Nick Mullins.
So in conclusion, I think their quarterback situation is very unclear. They have Jalen Hurts, Joe Flacco, and Nick Mullins. It sort of reminds me of a running back committee. It's a committee of mediocre quarterbacks. There isn't really one clear front runner. So I guess my point is that even if their team is good, and I think their team has some average or slightly below average talent as a whole, I think they'll still do badly because their quarterbacks are not very good. So if you take the 49ers, Bears, and Cowboys from last year, for example, they had a lot of talent surrounding their quarterbacks, but the quarterbacks just were not that good. So the teams ended up performing poorly. But I think the Eagles don't have exceptional talent, and they also don't have a good quarterback. So I think they just won't do well this year.
Yeah, I pretty much agree with Rohan. Something I noticed about the Eagles is that they just have a bunch of players who are either not in their prime yet or are way past their prime. Like, they don't really have anyone that's currently at their top physical form, really. They have a bunch of rookies and really young players, especially on offense. Like with the receivers, like you have a rookie who's probably going to be your wide receiver 1, and then an inexperienced sophomore quarterback. And then on defense, you have like players older than like 32, with like Brandon Graham, and like Darius Slay is in his 30s now as well. So no one's really at their peak performance. So I don't think they'll perform very well.
Yeah, I'm the most confident in the Eagles, and this is for two reasons. One is Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts has been one of my favorite quarterbacks to watch since college because I sort of felt bad for him after he got benched for Tua Tagovailoa, and I sort of followed his career pretty much ever since then. And I was kind of unfortunate to see him being drafted by the Eagles because I thought Carson Wentz would be better, but now that he's a starter, I have confidence in him, and I think that he'll do quite well. He is a dual threat quarterback, and I think if you extrapolate his season stats from the games which he had last year, he would have something in the ballpark of around 3,800 to 4,200 passing yards and about double the amount of touchdowns as interceptions. So it's like around a 20-10 with 4,000 passing yards and around 1,000 rushing yards, which is an absolutely stellar season for a quarterback. So I don't think he'll be that good, but I think he will definitely be very serviceable and very solid. I think he'll be the starter moving forward. The second reason is because of their strength of schedule. Their strength of schedule is 430, which is the lowest in the NFL, and it really isn't close. No other team is below 450. So because their strength of schedule is so easy, they'll have some gimme wins, which they can get. And I think that that combined with the virality of this offense definitely can make them pick up a few wins, which is why I have them a little bit higher than what we collectively have them here. But that wraps it up for our analysis of the Philadelphia Eagles, the 28th best team in the NFL going into the next 2021 season. Please like the video if you liked it, and comment if you disagree with our opinion or agree with one of our individual opinions. But yeah, please subscribe. We're on the road to 100 subscribers, so it means so much if you subscribe. But this is us, the Benchwarmers, and we are signing out. See ya.